Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Crash Cinnamon. This is your host McKenna, and today I'm discussing about, every so often popular culture there's phrases that, like YOLO, you only live once and all this kind of things. So there's always phrases that are going to come along, and one of those phrases that's been very popular is this sentiment of you do you, like everything is about encouraging that. And I don't know about you, but I have kind of let's just say reservations about the sentiment. I understand the spirit behind it about empowering person. It's there as a phrase to encourage people to live their truth, to live their best life, to occupy their space and be unapologetic of who they are. However, my reservations come in this form. If everyone does what they want, you do you, whatever, I feel it will absolve some people of some responsibility and accountability, and definitely I've faced that in the last few weeks where people are just you do you and all these things, and they're not understanding actions and omissions have an impact on the next person, our society, our environment. Look at the cost of living right now. Prices are going up. Fuel is going up. Everything has gone up. It's crazy. Who would have thought after coming out of lockdown and all this will be slapped with higher costs? Obviously we had to pay and stuff like that, and we are currently in a war situation with what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, and the spillover and how it's affecting travel, it's affecting communication, it's all this, and also the consequences of what people are doing, how it's affecting sports. There's some organizations not accepting any sports people from Russia because they want to send a message. It's all these kind of things. Let's bring it back down home. One of the situations I've been going through, and it's really annoyed me within my circle, is people doing what they feel is you do you, and not understanding that they have an effect, and the domino effect is crazy, because then you have to explain, then there's a lot of reconciliation, there's weeks of not talking, there's a lot of wasted time because of this. So what am I saying? Am I saying not to live your best life? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, yes, you're a person, you're an individual, you do not answer to norms and stuff like that. I understand that. However, you don't live in a vacuum. You live within a setup in a society, and there's guidelines of how to do things. For example, in where I live, the parking is limited. So if someone comes and blocks the other person, because there will be chaos. So there's some things you have to put in consideration. A lot of consideration, and it's interesting. So I went to a wedding recently, and it was a beautiful wedding, and I met lots of people and had discussions, and it was really nice. And we were many. I think we were close to 200 or more than that. And I didn't know, I knew some people in the obviously who had attended. Some of the guests are my friends, long-term friends, and things like that. And people who have had me and had my family as well. Some of them were there, and the creator is interesting. We'll make sure that your paths cross, and you have to be cordial and civil and all these things. And I was just reflecting. I was like, when this person was you do you kind of situation, didn't realize the effects, and actually I'm still suffering from some of the actions this person did, because it changed the trajectory of my life in one way or another. And they don't know this. Actually, they don't No, because of what they did, it changed a lot of things for me, and some things became very hard because of their actions. And it made me think, as human beings, whether you subscribe to religious faith, belief, mantra, whatever it is, what is it that makes you not only think of yourself when you want to, live your best life? What is that? What's that compass that helps you and guides you to understand that, okay, yes, I might be making this business acquisition, or I'm making this decision for my company. However, in 10, 20 years' time, what will be the effect? What will be the cause? What will be, because as we've seen, politicians come and go, rules come and go, dynasties come and go, superpowers come and go. But the effect, the legacy of what happens, as we've talked on this podcast before, legacy is important. So going back to this wedding, the next day I was getting the bus, and there was a lot of police activity on that street, and this lady, a black lady, approached me, and she almost got hit by the police car that was racing down. I think there was an incident in town, and we said hello to each other, smiled, and she was like, "We bought the wedding at the weekend." And I was shocked because I never really saw her, and we were so many. When you think you're insignificant, in fact, that day I was feeling very insignificant because what I wanted to wear was not what I got, so it was a lot of last minute. And ladies and gents, if you're feeling unconscious about how you are, maybe you're not feeling so comfortable, and it's not that you look bad, it's just what you have in your head, the idea of how you want it to look doesn't come through, and you feel like, no. And I think that's something I'm working on as well, my mindset on not to be so stuck on something I really, really wanted. There's other ways to go around it. Anyway, back to the story. And we started chatting, and it turns out she's dating somebody, one of the guests who's very close to the family, and I know of the situation in this family, and I was thinking, okay, so we really hit it off, and turns out actually we come from the same region and all these things. There was so much similarity. And towards the end she was like, oh yeah, and we got off, we live so near each other as well. It's so interesting. Again, I don't know how the creator works, it's just crazy. And she asked me for a number, and I was like, yeah, we could link up and stuff. And actually I've been thinking to text her and just say, yeah, we could meet or whatever. And I thought, okay, I still have to cross check it by this other person who was at the wedding. So who was dating this guy that this lady is dating? Am I confusing you? Okay, so there's the lady I met is A. She's dating Mr. A, who Mr. A was dating and had a child with B. So B is my friend, and she's the mother of the bride, and that's the story. And I was thinking to myself, okay, I'm an adult, we are adults, we can have friends, but the prior knowledge I know of how situation went down, I can't really go and say, okay, we'll be cool and friends if I'm not, checking this other side. And some people might think it's extreme, but I have learned, especially now in my late 30s, that there's some things, some friendships you can't afford to lose only because of a miscommunication or something. And I was like, okay, if I do me where I've connected with somebody and I think they'll be good, in terms of friendship wise and stuff, but what's the cause and effect of that? And yeah, I was just reflecting on this. Now, my point is, what if the person is uncomfortable about it, me being friends? Then I'll honor that, because at the end of the day, it's not about really loyalty or I knew this person, girl, be fast, and it's more of the journey we've had together and where we're going together. So I feel there's no need to lose that because of girl A, even though we have so much in common, in case she's not cool with it, for example. But I will also give my view and I'm sure we'll get to a point of understanding. That being said, have you ever been in such a situation and you think, I've gone through this again when I was 16, 17, 20, 50, whatever. But it just shows you there's nothing new under the sun, and situations come in a different way, but it's the same thing, if you get what I mean. So yeah, look after yourselves. It's an interesting time in our lives with everything that's going on. Be conscious of your space, be conscious of the people around you, and be conscious of who you are. You're evolving as a person, and don't ignore that. But at the same time, remember, you don't live in a vacuum. So thank you for listening to this episode. See you in the next one. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for all the love you've been showing me. And yeah, let's keep in touch. Share with everyone about this podcast, and let's continue growing together. Thank you.